Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's an open the box, but it's a very different unboxing. And before I show you what it's all about, here's a little bit of background. A short while ago, I got an email from a chap called Michael Kleborn, I hope I pronounced that right, Michael, from Germany, who had designed a game called Eysenhudt. And would I be interested in having a look at it? Michael said he'd been developing this game over 10 years. It's unpublished, but all the files for it are available on Board Game Geek for free. Michael said Eysenhudt isn't a typical print and play game because there's quite a bit to it. Not only printing off cards and such, meeples and other wooden pieces are involved. But he said if you're prepared to have a look at it and show everybody what it's all about, I'll prepare a copy and send it to you. I said, of course, send it to me and we'll see what we can do. So here it is. This is Eysenhudt. I know it's a bit Heath Robinson looking, but remember, this is unpublished and Michael has put this together so I don't have to. Here's the main game, and he also sent a mini expansion for it, an adaptive combat system. What's the game about? Well, in Michael's own words, it is an historical atmospheric game of strategy about the German Peasant War of 1525. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the main game first. What I love about this is the time and effort Michael's obviously put into putting this game together for me. He's even made a little box for it. So, here are the rules, and you can see it's chock-a-block. We're going to go through it all, but let's have a look at the rules first. So, this rulebook comes in at 20 pages, and I assume that's Michael himself there. He calls it an historical and densely atmospheric board game. I believe the game is available in both German and English, and of course I'll leave a link in the description to the files on BGG. This rulebook, I understand, just got an email from Michael saying it's been updated. I haven't had a chance to compare, but we'll have a look at this one. So the background. Now some of the syntax and punctuation being a translation from the original German, the odd word here and there might be a bit out of place, but let's see what this is about. May 1525, smoke over the Reich. The Steinsberg is burning. Everywhere the country folk are rising against their rulers. Inspired by the new teachings of Luther and the early reformers, the revolutionaries are striving for a new and better order of society. In the blink of an eye, the mighty wheel of history comes to a standstill. At this very moment, everything seems possible. While the revolutionaries are making hopeful plans and the principals are massing their hosts, a new army is gathering in the remote area. The Krakow, hope I pronounced that right, lying hidden between the Schwarz and the Odenwald, the Nectar and the Rheindale. The captain is a cleric called Anton Eysenhudt. So as a player, you relive the march of this army through the countryside and conduct all sorts of tactical or strategical orders from your captain. You have different roles or offices, and as a preacher, you spread the word of the Reformation. There are various markets where you can acquire useful equipment, you recruit new units, and you have to supply them. And as it says here, this game was developed over the past 10 years alongside his academic research. So it looks quite interesting, lots going on and lots of components. So the goal is, as a commander of your own troop of revolutionaries, you're going after victory points. But at the same time, you don't want to accrue too many aggression points, because at the end of the game, you've got to justify your actions before the principal's justice. So the overview of the game, it says the game is divided into 5 movement phases and 5 encampment phases. Each movement phase is split into 3 rounds, and that's where you perform your actions. And in each round you can choose to pick a new office. You can go preaching, win over a village, extend your wagon trek, gather food, recruit a new unit, or visit the market. Or you may instead want to carry out an order of your captain, Anton Eysenhudt. After 3 rounds of action, your whole army tries to conquer a fortified town to score VPs and get some booty. And afterwards you have to supply your units before you prepare for the next movement phase. And after the 5th and last encampment phase, the principal's justice awaits, and you receive proper punishment for your accumulated aggression points. Finally, after you have overcome your losses of units and florin, you sum up your accomplishments and determine who is the most successful commander in the fight for the revolutionary goals. So here we've got the components and terms used on the cards, how to set up the game. I think each player has one of these, and there's a central sort of player board there, and a step-by-step how to set up the game. The order of a round, the different offices you can have, the preacher, the Rotmeister, corporal, the horse sergeant, the purser, Butenmeister. Look at the cards here. At the end of a round, the encampment phase, attacks on strongholds and towns. It's quite involved. The battle procedure for attacking a town. And an example here of conquering a town. And very sort of naive pictures, which I think are used to give a contemporary feel to the game. The principles, justice and game's end, and some variants. Some changes in the rules depending on how many players you have, and there is a solo variant. And a beginner's version, family's version, and some FAQs at the end there. And what's easily overlooked, sort of index or short reference and an overview. Them's the rules. Here's the game board, printed in 2 parts, and this map on the back here shows the area the war took place in. Up here we've got town space for, I believe those are Reformation markers. Here is where the Eysenhudt deck goes, and here we place cards for the different movement phases and the encampment phase. Here we've got spaces for the Thorpe cards. We actually use that word over here, but with an E on the end, not far from where I am on the coast, there is a place called Thorpe Bay. So there we are. Here are the offices. They go there. Every player will have one of these player boards. It's got a sort of score track around the outside for keeping a tally of your VPs and APs, your victory points and aggression points. Here I believe are captured Thorpes, that's where they go. The Tross, with 6 spaces for your wagons. The farm line space, where you put your meeples. Here's a money bag for your money. And your Reformation markers there. And a rank. There are little counters that will go over that, showing your current rank, which can increase. And the 6 offices. And these can be upgraded as the game progresses. These are markets and are placed as they become available next to the main player board. And we start, I believe, with this one. Some player booklets with information about captured strongholds and the like. And I say these pictures, these naive pictures, I think are done to give a sort of contemporary feel to this 16th century set game. Conquered towns and so on. There are a ton of cards, counters, meeples. I don't want to get them all out because I don't want to mix them up, so I'll show you them individually. So here we are. These are Thorpe cards. We'll have a look at those. This probably means what's available there. Barrels of supplies and the like. There we are. We have the choice of office cards and the upgrades of your rank I was talking about earlier. And the wagons. You get a ton of equipment cards. I'll just show you some of them. Baggage servant, ploughboy. These are called battle discs. And these are the battle cards. So these tell you what sort of town or stronghold it is. I assume what you need to conquer it. And these are the offices upgrade cards that are placed on your player board. Copper, silver and gold. There we are. Some meeples are required. We have ones for food barrels. Reformation markers. Multi-use counters. Some meeples representing peasants and citizens. Some coinage. And a die with coloured spots. A meeple representing the starting player pawn and the VP and AP markers. And then there are the cards. This is the movement phase deck. There's quite a lot of them, as you can see. Colourful. A lot with that chap on them. There we are. So that's the movement phase deck. Then there's a smaller encampment phase deck. Also included in the files will be the beginners or family version deck to get you going. Not so many cards in here. There we are. Michael also sent me some professionally printed booklets about the history, about the places and the art used in the game. And I understand that Michael's working on converting those to PDF so you can download them from BGG. And this one looks at the art that we saw on the cards and the maps and things. So they're all based, they look very naive, but they are based on contemporary 16th century copper engravings. So very nice indeed. The weaponry there. The principles, justice. Yeah, okay. So chock-a-block full of history and information. Knightly weapons. I won't try and pronounce these names. Visit the wine bar. Nice quality booklets. There we go. And here's another booklet presenting some of the Thorpe's strongholds. Again, professionally produced. So these are, all, of course, all real places that are mentioned in the game. Impressive looking places, though. So this game is dripping with history. Here we are. Beautiful looking buildings. And where they are. So you want to know a bit about the Peasants' War of 1525? Well, here's a booklet telling you all about it and some source material. And as I say, I think Michael's working on getting these booklets that I'm showing you onto the file section of the game on the BGG webpage. So a short overview of the Peasants' War. Something about Anton Eysenhudt. Some of the sources used. Peter Hara. So these are contemporary people that Michael has drawn information about. There we go. Oh dear. And one last booklet showing photographs and texts relating to the sites mentioned in the game. Right, I see. These happen in the different movement phases. lots to be reading if this is tickling your interest. Nothing better than having background and history to a game we play. All the better to enjoy it. Once again, great pictures and a lovely produced booklet. The principal's justice at the end. And a map, I assume, showing you where they all are. Michael also sent me the mini expansion for the game, the adaptive combat system. And obviously, I think, tweaks the combat system. So let's have a quick look at that. Inside is just a single sheet of instructions with the background, the components, how it works. And on the other side, a variant when you attack strongholds. We've got 65 double-sided battle cards, and there are 6 levels. So we've seen these sort of things before. And the 6 levels are copper, silver and gold, palladium, plutonium and californium. You need some polyhedral dice. Michael's even sent those in a nice little bag. We've got 3 double-sided rotary dials for the determination of the town's defenders' difficulty level. And on the other side it looks like how to use them. And 1 for strongholds defenders' difficulty level. And some die charts. So this has been a rather unusual open the box, an unboxing of a print and play game kindly sent to me by Michael Claiborne. 10 years in development. It is Eysenhudt, an historical atmospheric game about the German Peasant War in 1525. Yes, I understand a lot to download and source yourself, but what I would suggest is go on to Board Game Geek, download the rules and see what you think. It looks quite involved and it looks like it's got elements from both Euros and war games, and also you've got this expansion to make the combat system a little bit more intricate. Thank you, Michael, for sending this to me and taking the trouble to print it all out, source all the meeples and whatnot. I shall do my best to get this on the table so you can see it fully set up, and a bit of a playthrough as well, so everybody gets an idea of what's going on. As I say, I shall leave the link in the description for this game on BGG. So I hope you did enjoy that and it was of interest. If you did, and it was, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Really does help. Pushing the actual like button of the video helps as well. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, push the bell. Leave a comment. I'm hoping to get lots of feedback on this, and so is Michael. Tell me what you think. I'll be very interested in reading them. As always, a big thank you to my subscribers. Thank you very much indeed. And just before I go, if you want to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can. You can buy the channel a coffee, and all those coffees go towards new content for the channel to upload. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description for that as well. And thank you. So, until next time, as always, you take care and goodbye.